Hello everyone, welcome back to our new episode of What's New in Dynatrace Observability Clinic series. Today we are here with Miloš again for another session to take a look at our platform features of version 2.83. Hi Miloš, good to see you again. How are you doing?
Hello, Berkan. Hello, everyone. Doing fine. Thank you very much. Nice to be here again.
All right, and if you are ready, then let's continue with the next slide so that we can have a look at our agenda items for today.
hmm
Perfect. As usual, the first part will be about our playground tenants. Any Dynatrace user can check and use this as a demo environment. If you are new to Dynatrace, trial account will be enough for you to explore how our platform integrates with different technologies. Next, and the main focus of the session is product updates. Miloš will be covering the features released in the version 2.83. Finally, we will be highlighting our feedback channels and resources where you can find more detailed information. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, if you are new to Dynatrace and you just would like to analyze our capabilities, signing up for a trial will be enough for you. Here is a link that you can click directly and see the required information. It will be a couple of minutes step for you to just log in our tenants. If you already have an account, you can directly click again on the bottom of the link and log in our tenants from there. And lastly, please take a look at our GitHub page for lots of tutorials and hands-on training materials to help you get familiar with our platform. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now I think we can get with the Yunus.
Thank you. Yeah. Today's topic is version 1.283. New releases are rolled out every 2 weeks. So let us dive right away into today's release. First of all, a topic that's already been presented in the past few presentations. The SAML certificate migration, it will expire on February 28th this year, which means that yeah, we strongly recommend to please update it um, in on the IDP side, and please to check the required boxes on the Dynatrace page. And instructions can be found here. Let us continue right away with the second breaking change of today's release. Um, it is about OpenTelemetry attributes. There is a new feature in terms of how or what attributes are um, included into Dynatrace. We can now here use the options to mask attributes, but most likely what is new here is our option to block attributes and the preferences here. So we can allow all attributes or block all attributes by these two options here, which means if we allow all attributes, we can block specific ones in the options here. Yeah.
And of course, if you think that you can be potentially affected for both breaking changes, please reach out to your account management teams, or you can directly reach out to our team via chat and get help in a couple of minutes.
hmm So this is the breaking change. What else do we have? Or let us actually see this in the hands-on part. In the global settings, masking is okay, but here the blocked attributes. So we can add here items or attribute keys to block specific attributes, and the preferences we could change also to block all attributes, for example, and then the system will switch over, allowing us specific attributes. So basically the other way around. So this is definitely new and allows for more flexibility to select what attributes to include and what to block.
Okay.
So far, so good. Let us go back. New DQL functions, as pretty much every week, we have new DQL function to share. This time it's an old friend of ours, the entity selector, is now also available in DQL, so it is queryable. Let's see this then in a couple minutes, what this looks like.
Maybe a quick comment here. For
Please.
the ones who are not familiar with entity selector, it's basically allow you to use relationships between entities in your specific features, for example, metric expressions, API calls, SROs, and now it's also available in the QL queries as function. Briefly, you can use it whenever you need to define that specific set of the topology relationship in your is existing that analysis.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Okay,
pretty
let's
neat.
continue.
Mm, our older customers definitely know from Data Explorer or from the API usage our entity selector, so now it can be copy pasted into the QL queries as well for filtering, for example. Another nice feature in regards to our API is that the API query can now be, or the syntax, the text format can now be changed between curl bash, PowerShell, and CMD. So simply by selecting one of these tabs, um, the black field here, the curl command, will be updated accordingly. So pretty neat feature. If you do it the first time in the API Explorer, you can select then the format that fits your needs most, copy it from here, and use for automation, for example. Um, nice updates there. What else do we have? Another update. This is mostly cosmetic, but still a nice to have additional information. On the icons, we now have this little box here stating that this application is new. So if we compare now our Kubernetes apps, we have the classic Kubernetes indicating that this was already available in the old platform, and the new application was yeah, marked with the new box here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a minor but useful change, I believe. And it also helps you to see that what new applications that built with the new platform, the new generation platform. So I
Yeah.
can say it explains itself directly.
I think it is pretty neat, especially because old and new can be used in the new platform, but still just yeah, for navigational purposes maybe here. um, One more feature regarding our dashboard, when charting commands here, for example, in the single value tile, then there are a couple options here available that were not available before. For example, we can select here our data mapping value, depending on based on what we want to map our data here in this tile. Um, and what else is new? We can define or the thresholding feature was optimized, similar to what was possible in Data Explorer, can also be done now here, where we can define threshold and yeah, give it a color theme. If larger than 10, then green. If 0, then red, and in between yellow, for example. And here with these toggles, we can select what we actually want to color based on the threshold. Is it the value or the background of the tile? So again, a nice additional feature for having the visuals the way we want them.
And I guess
And,
in addition to that, we have the observability clinic, which we put the link on the slides. And from that clinic, you can see more advanced threshold visualization details or spark time features for time series in tables, and also some unit formatting updates. So basically, it's a 30-minute, I guess, session where Andy and Thomas covered several dashboarding updates from the previous weeks. That can be also pretty handy for you to see what's new and what's available in dashboard application.
mhm. With that said, I would suggest we go into the hands-on part and discuss what we mentioned so far.
Okay.
Let us start in the notebooks. We mentioned in the beginning the classic entity selector was introduced. So here a very simple example of how we can use it, fetching logs, and when we are applying here our filter, and our old or experienced customers will already recognize here syntax is very the same as it is or as it is was used in the Data Explorer. So in this case here we are filtering for application instances, using then here the entity selector, and the same way defining first the type. Of course, also relationships are supported, and yeah, grabbing here our application cloud application instances, which are parts of the namespace defined here with this ID. And of course, here we could use, of course, entity name equals, begins with, ends with, and so forth. So whatever we are um, used to using in our entity selector can be used here as well.
Is this available only for logs, or we can also use it for metrics
Of
or
course, this can be
events
used
and so on?
everywhere. Yeah, it's now embedded into
Okay.
DQL, so it can be used for all the tables or the storages. Yeah, and here again the example mentioned a moment ago, or maybe let's start with that, how we can access it. If we select here our options, then it will pop up on the right side. Singular value is where the news are for today, and yeah, allowing us here to change the threshold where it is applied to, the coloring, and the thresholds are a bit below here on the threshold. Yeah, pretty much pretty similar to what was possible already in Data Explorer to get here um, the visuals. Okay.
Okay.
With that said, let us continue our journey. Yes, we have another API-based uh, update. Um, the scope busy-events.ingest is available for the old platform when accessing this endpoint here. So yeah, in terms of API generation or creation, it's just one more scope is available. So in the UI, here, uh, again here, in under token, access token, if you create here a new token, then you can only search for busy-events.ingest and you will find the new scope available for the API endpoint. All right. What else do we have? Another nice feature is that now the Dynatrace apps are automatically updated in a Dynatrace hub. So yeah, reducing the manual effort to update the apps. Yeah, it's done now automatically. So that's about it. And this is a huge thing now. OneAgent has a new mode, Foundation and Discovery. So alongside full stack and infrastructure, now we have the so-called Discovery mode. It's a lighter and even less expensive mode of the OneAgent than infrastructure, for example. We have here in the table the direct comparison between the three modes. Currently, it is only available for SaaS on DPS, but it will be in the future also available for managed. So what do we get? The idea of it is to get here, as the name suggests, to get discovery, availability, for example, host health, file system monitoring, OS services are monitored, but for example, we don't have here the process details and of course everything that comes after it, with the exception of log management. This can be enabled, and also application security can be enabled. Yeah, application security capabilities in the discovery mode can be directly compared to the capabilities of the infrastructure mode. So when it comes to that, it is pretty similar. Apart from that, yeah, OneAgent discovery mode, pretty nice addition.
That's really interesting that I wonder what the first impressions will be from our users and see that how many use cases that we are going to cover. I hope that it's helps that, especially as a first step, that maybe using that OneAgent discovery mode and see that how the environment status at the host statuses and recommended actions around that. And yeah, it's strange. I think that you also have a blog post about this but of course the blog post is mainly about the new application, but it is along with the new foundation and discovery mode. So briefly, we have a discovery and coverage app in our platform.
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
we provide insights into your host's monitoring status and recommended actions. We can also identify exactly that's the application, external services on hosts, and you can, for example, detect unmonitored technologies that require attention. We flag potential security concerns and so on. So basically, with this mods, there are still lots of different capabilities that you can use and explore in your environments, and then you can change your monitoring mode if needed, of course, to inform your full stack. So these are all, I think, explained in the documentation and in the blog post clearly by our documentation and product management team. So it is a really interesting application as far as I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It reduces that's licenses. I don't know. I couldn't remember the exact license in comparison.
It depends on the rate card. Since we are talking here about DPS, um, full stack infrastructure, and now the discovery mode, it depending on host hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the idea behind that is that the discovery mode is cheapest one, the
Okay.
least expensive one. So yeah.
Okay. And we can easily find this application from Hub. Maybe it would be nice, Miloš, if we can show this shortly
hmm
from the Hub, and
You
you
mean
can
how to navigate
search.
here? Okay.
Yes, the Hub application.
Hub. So this is the application. Okay, I've been here already. I should relaunch it maybe again.
Oh, it's okay. You
Uh,
can open it
Otherwise,
directly from
yeah,
there.
or from here and then here, discovery. There it is. Mhm. Our
Okay,
faces are
sounds
now
good.
covering it, but from here it can be downloaded.
Okay, thank you very much. And again,
hmm
for the application related information, you can find all the details in the blog post that we mentioned on this link. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to us or chat. So I think that it's pretty much that is
hmm
what that.
Okay. What else do we have? Um, uh, More news about DPS. Um, there are metrics now available, built-in metrics that can show us our current DPS consumption. And all of these metrics are collected in a dashboard. So this is the news. There is a dashboard that shows it. What is nice is that this dashboard or these metrics also work with classic licensing. So it then basically shows, or it could be translated, how much it would consume in the DPS universe. So customers can kind of use it to estimate the classic licensing then in the DPS licensing mode. And who uses DPS can then, of course, directly convert it depending on the rate card. So yeah, we can see this then in the hands-on part as well.
Okay. I think it's a good way to start customizing your licensing dashboarding needs. So once you see that dashboard, you can easily clone and see which metrics that has been used, what type of license types that are included in the dashboard. So I think it will definitely help you to start your customizing your dashboards basically.
Exactly, and it can be used as a template. So it's there, can be cloned as you said, yeah, used as a solid foundation. hmm More news about AWS Lambda service data display. Now the news are that when clicking on the AWS Lambda service, data is shown both from the built-in services and the new CloudWatch integration. So yeah, it's combined into the service view that's generated from the layer instrumentation with the OneAgent. Yeah. News about Lambda here. Um, yeah. Anything more to add to that?
Well, for me, I think it's briefly we keep the old and the new data that for a smooth transition. That's why that you see from different resources as far as I see here. So it's a kind of useful update. for the users that will use Lambda integration in Dynatrace.
Yeah, exactly. Mm, what else do we have? News in terms of our AWS Systems Manager distributor support. There are more options available. Also, the documentation was received an additional section. So first of all, the OneAgent packages were updated. More operating systems are supported with one Ubuntu and one Red Hat. And yeah, in terms of or if parameter store or secret manager are used, then there is a new section added that the AWS CLI is being required for pass token storage. These are the news there.
Okay.
And a couple of minor news here put together on one slide. So with all the recent Kubernetes monitoring changes, when we say that, then of course we mean the parts retrieved for the by the one age by the ActiveGate. I mean, sorry, it requires now an minimum ActiveGate version of 1.279. So this was increased. This is now a requirement. Additional news are that Kubernetes nodes, um, which are visible, of course, in the Dynatrace UI, receive now one more metadata line, and this is the timestamp of the creation. Can, of course, can be seen in the UI and be extracted via API. And we have here one more exposure of the root cause entity name in Grail documents, in problem Grail documents. Yeah, let's I would say let's see this what it looks like in the UI.
Maybe a couple of things I
Sorry.
just would like to add. For the minimum ActiveGate version, I think we have a warning in the Kubernetes page already. So if you use outdated version,
Mm-hmm.
then you will get this information directly on your main overview page, Kubernetes overview page. The second one is, I think, a maybe minor update, but it's pretty useful for several reasons. Like, for example, you can track your changes over time and assess nodes age within your cluster, or you can use the timestamp information as a reference point for identifying your issues to understand if it is related to the recent nodes or persists across different node generations. And you can also use it, I think, for capacity planning. For example, you can understand node creation times essential for this and use it for forecasting resource utilization, trend utilization, and scaling decisions. So briefly, I think it will help you to extend your query details, and especially with using DQL, and provide you more and more capabilities with a minor timestamp information change, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is the root cause entity name in the problem Grail document. I think that can be also very useful at once when you use different type of data analysis. For example, if you use like fetch span that command, and now you can add this root cause entity information within your queries, and you can have more flexibility to analyze your traces, the affected with the main root cause entity in your problems. So briefly, that from different buckets, that root cause entity can be useful. And in general, of course, it will also help you to analyze your events, your daily problems in a much effective way with this entity. So these are really maybe minor updates, but I think that will be pretty useful for several use cases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we can go with the hands-on parts and see what we just introduced.
Let's see what it looks like. Let us maybe start with the Kubernetes. So here we are in the new Kubernetes app. Selected here one node. Currently 4 nodes are in this environment here. And then we can find here under the info tab the timestamp. So this was a new piece of metadata that was added here. In terms of dimension of the dashboard, well, it's a dashboard. We see here the consumption in for the DPS license consumption. Yeah, here full stack monitoring. Unfortunately, in this environment, we don't have infrastructure monitoring or the new discovery mode, not yet at least. Yeah, here a couple more metrics we have here. Custom metrics, and yeah, of course, files can be removed. So this is just here a template or an allocation of all the new built-in metrics, application security, and here then we are going into the direction of them in terms of RAM and maybe synthetics, logs, events, yeah, all the good stuff. And synthetics, browser and third party, for example. Okay. So yeah, this can be found in the dashboards classic app.
Okay.
And here we've been already. Okay.
I think we have the last example in Notebook, right, Manish? It's
Oh, almost
for the root
forgot.
identity. So
Yes,
I got that
thank
impression
you.
that you'll
Uh,
skip that one. So
No, let me go back.
it's perfectly fine. Let's see.
Let
I
me go.
guess you
Mhm.
already prepared for this, so it's worth to mention.
Actually, yeah, we could just make let me add a new section, or did we?
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
bottom of the page. Yep, I
pretty
remember
simple.
this.
Yeah. Pretty easy one. Just fetching here events as an example. And the idea here is that in the response we should find here the root cause entity name, visible here, for example. So part of the part of the record.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty simple query here, just fetching here the events and selecting those that have not an empty, is not null root cause entity dot ID. Okay, now I think we covered everything. Let us go back to the slide. And of course, yeah, if there are more more questions raised, or if there are more open questions, please feel free to reach out to us through our other channels, live chat, for example. We also offer webinars, and of course the forum, the Dynatrace community.
Mhm.
Um,
I think that that's also that all from my end. It's maybe just to emphasize the webinar section. Maybe in the next session that we can also put what type of resources we have in webinars, because in university, if you go to the Dynatrace webinar section directly, you will have plenty of tutorials. And as you know that we are rolling out our clusters every 2 weeks, so there are many features, many capabilities. And with the new platform, there are many applications that we deployed, we released, and the university will be really the main resource for you to see what's available in there, or if there's anything that can extend your platform capabilities, platform usage. Of course, you can always reach out to your account management team, your CSM, product specialist, services team, and so on, to get more and more information about those capabilities, those features. Or if you have direct questions, basic, simple questions, or needs more troubleshooting type of questions, you can always reach out to us via chat. Actually, you can reach out to the chats for anything, and then we can internally that forward your needs to different teams. And for the community, of course, we have our product managers and waiting for your direct feedbacks. So briefly, there are several resources that you can use and learn from different that colleagues. And I hope that session also can help you to get updated with the features, and hopefully see you again in a couple of days or weeks. We will see it. Thank you very much once again for your time.
Thank you very
Wishing
much,
you a great
everyone.
day. Speak to you again, and thank you everyone. Have a nice day.